All right, hey everyone, and welcome to our first Facebook Live, and probably what's going to be an awesome series. What we're looking at is doing a series of videos every fortnight, just some tips on, firstly, maybe your website, SEO, AdWords, LinkedIn lead generation, and anything digital marketing. So we're going to go through today. What we're going to go through is your website, 5 growth tips for your website. And just while we kind of wait for a few people to jump on, anyone, by the way, who's jumped on as we go ahead, just give a comment in the box, in the comment box, say hi. If you're watching this not live and you're watching this as a video, make sure you comment below and ask maybe some questions, and they will be answered in a fortnight's time when we go live again, okay? So just in the comments, ask your questions, and our team will answer them immediately, or I'll talk about it in the next Facebook Live if I think it's a great question. So look, basically, just as we waited for a few people to jump on, can just someone give me a thumbs up if the audio's all good there? There we go. We got Kai jumping on. Few others. If you can give me a comment just to make sure the audio is all sweet, and we'll jump on into it very soon. There we go. Mitch is there. Hey Mitch, how's it going, man? If you can hear me and the audio all fine, just give me a little comment in the comment box. Give him some love. Cool. Awesome. All right. There we go. All good. Great. Okay, cool guys. So let's just get straight into it, because I know it's a lunch and learn and everyone has limited time. But what we're going to do is going to be about 15-20 minutes today, and we're going to go through some really great growth tips for your website that basically you can do for free without anything too extraordinary or taking too much of your time. Just some real quick wins that we see on a daily basis that businesses can do. And that can be whether it's e-commerce business or it can be whether it's a service-based business. It doesn't matter. These tips apply to every single business here in Australia, all right? So let's just start off, and this is something that us as Summit Web has been doing lately, and is truly understanding what your customer wants, all right? Now, by that I mean, while a great example is, for example, Harley Davidson, okay? So Harley Davidson don't sell motorbikes. And if they do, they would probably never get anywhere because their motorbikes are pretty crappy, let's be honest. They break it down all the time. They're really inefficient. But what they sell is actually the experience of being on a Harley Davidson, right? So when you're on a Harley Davidson, you're free, you're wild, and people buy into that sort of stuff. So Harley Davidson really understand what exactly their customer wants when they're buying a motorbike, and it's not necessarily to get A to B. Okay, they have a standard car for that, or maybe another bike. It's for cruising and it's for the lifestyle. And the guys here at Summit Web have come across a awesome. Kai at Summit Web came across this awesome podcast, Masters of Scale, right? And so the Airbnb co-founder, Brian Chesky, he talks a lot about when your company is small, all right, small enough to be able to talk to every single one of your customers, then it's the best time to really start creating, an exceptional, amazing experience that puts you, far above any of your other competitors. Now, a great example, right, is for example, let's just say a stock standard plumbing store. I'll be going through this a little bit later, but a stock standing plumber comes, you got your tap, it's broken, it's leaking, and a standard plumber would come over and they would fix it, and they'd be nice and they'd shake your hand, and that might be a 3-star experience. But for a customer, for a plumber to come to fix their leaking tap, what's a 4-star experience, or what's going to set them apart? Now, there's one example is where a plumber came over, fixed the lady's broken tap, but he also did some of the dishes. All right. So he came over, he fixed the tap, did the dishes, and then when that customer came back to her house, all her dishes are clean, all the sink and everything's clean, and that created an amazing experience that is going to stay in her mind for a long time, okay? So when we want to truly understand what our customer wants, we want to provide them, yes, our service, but we also want to understand what that service provides them. For Summit Web, sure, we provide leads and sales to a business, but more than that is we provide the business owner with the lifestyle and the cash flow that they want. So when we truly understand what our customer wants is when we can start really optimizing our website to start selling and generating more leads. One of those, number two, our second optimization tip is making sure your website is mobile optimized, okay? Now, you probably heard this before, but it is really, really important. And this year, Google came out with a brand new update. Basically, there's two different indexes for desktop, one for desktop and one for mobile. So that means if your website looks great on desktop, it might rank well if we search it from our desktop computers. But if it's not mobile optimized and it doesn't look great on mobile, then Google has a completely different set of results on mobile than on desktop. So you might be ranking well on desktop, but not on mobile. And therefore, you're missing out on up to 50% of your customers, all right? Because I think mobile usage is surpassed desktop usage at the moment now. It's somewhere up between 60% of all devices. So it's really important that our website is mobile optimized. Great way to test it is to go to this Google mobile friendly test. And basically it's just google.com/test/mobile friendly. You're not going to remember that, but just Google search mobile friendly test. And this web page will come up and just enter your details, right? And let's just go GA Perry's. By the way, I've got no affiliation with these websites I'm going to show you. They're just here for showing you all these tips and tricks. Now, while it analyzes, it takes a little while. You can read a little bit more on HubSpot. HubSpot's really probably one of the best marketing resources, free marketing resources out there. They have an amazing blog, and it explains the mobile algorithm update in detail in one of these blogs called the Google Algorithm Update Mobile Optimization Tools. Okay, so you can use Google's mobile friendly test, and there's some other checkers as well. You can even use HubSpot's marketing grader. But as we go back, we can see that GA Perry's website is mobile optimized. If it's not, you'll see a big red thing saying your website's not mobile optimized, and you'll need to go back to developer and do some updates. Now, I highly, highly recommend if this comes up that it's not mobile friendly, you immediately go and get it sorted before you start any other marketing campaigns, because really this is so important. Most of our customers now are searching on mobile rather than the desktop, okay? Awesome, so next tip is check your SEO titles and descriptions are great. Now, if you don't know what this is, basically what it is when you search for your query in Google. So for example, I'm after a plumber. At the moment, my tap is leaking. I'm in an emergency. Your SEO title is this thing right here, okay? This title thing. Oh, not everything. Here we go. This SEO title right here, okay? And this is what first attracts the customer's eye. So right here, we've got plumber Perth, hot water, block drains, leak detection, and gas, all right? So it's really, really obvious what this plumber handles, okay? And if I had a hot water problem, it's very, very likely that I would click this. Next one is emergency plumbing services, all right? So if I had an emergency, I would likely click this one. And this is obviously where they're targeting, all right? But you scroll down and compare that to, let's just say this SEO title, home, all Perth, plumbing and gas, all right? It doesn't really satisfy my need for what the company is all about, all right? I'm looking to make a connection, or I'm looking for my problem to be solved really, really quickly. And so it's likely that I'll click on one of these titles up the top here. And Google knows that as well, all right? So if your title, so this title is getting clicked on more than this one, right? Google is going to know that for the amount of people viewing this page, per the amount of people clicking on your on your not ad, but on your website here, is that's what's called a click-through rate, and therefore they will give you, the better your click-through rate, the higher likely you are in Google, okay? Because Google knows that you're answering the question really quickly. And then here in our description, as well as we need to convince the user or the customer to click onto our website. So we cover all of Perth, all right? 24/7, great. If I'm in an emergency, I know that these plumbers can come out all the time. Hot water, block drains, leak detection, gas fittings, blah, blah, blah. No call out fee, great, that's for me, and upfront competitive prices. So I'm likely to click on that if I've got a problem, all right? Rather than just home or we are Perth's expert plumbing and gas people. You're not really telling me much about your business. So it's really, really important. And, if you've got WordPress, I don't know what system you use, but if you've got WordPress, you can use this plugin called the Yoast SEO plugin, or just go to your developer and ask them to update them. However, sometimes your developer doesn't really come up with creative titles, so I might recommend that you sit down yourself and maybe write a few different titles for your customer, right? Cool. Just quickly, hi Connie, how's it going? And yes, hi all our BNIs here. Thanks for coming in and supporting us. And Kai, I'll just answer your questions at the end of the five tips. All right. Again, anyone else as well, if you have any questions, go ahead and comment down there, and I'll answer them at the end of all our 5 tips. And if you are watching this as a recording video, go ahead and comment anyway, and we will get back to you as soon as possible with an answer, or we will cover the next question in our next live video in a fortnight's time, okay? Awesome, so what do we have next? Great, now do you have a clear call to action on your website? You got to understand that when your customer comes onto your website, you got to think like they're 5 years old. You have to tell them what to do. Now, while it's pretty obvious that, say, if I come onto a plumber's website, that to contact them is to call them, but you got to make it easy for me. You got to make it really easy and really obvious. How many times have you gone onto a website? You're trying to contact them, and it just feels like a hassle trying to find their contact page to where their number is, or trying to find their form to how to get in contact with them. It might take longer than 10 seconds, and in that time we've just lost interest. We don't think this business is best for us, and so we go back to the Google results and we open their competitors. So we've just lost them by not telling them what to do. So let's compare. One, G.A. Perry. This is very, very obvious in terms of either call or book online. 2 main call to actions. It's really, really obvious. There's nowhere that I can, get confused on this right off the bat. Where you compare it to Prime Plumbing, and this, there's nowhere that my eye is drawn to. I can't find their number very easy. I'm not really sure exactly what type of plumbing they do, okay? Up here we can see complete plumbing service for residential builders, but how do I get in contact with them, all right? It's a little bit difficult. Now, again, I'm no affiliation with any of these companies. I'm just using it for showcase purposes. But say if they just had call us now with a big number there, don't you think they would dramatically increase the amount of people going onto their website? And Google, getting in contact with them. Google knows this as well. So I found those guys way, way, way down, way down here on like page 3 or 4. I've just got an endless scroll thing. But this would be like page 4, 5. However, people with a clear call to action, great SEO titles, a few other things are right at the top, okay? So G.A. Perry, here we go. And it's really, really obvious. Make it super easy for your customer to get in contact with you. Cool. And now the last one is probably the easiest and cheapest way to drum up new business, is ask for referrals from your existing customers when they are their happiest, and also ask for reviews, all right? When a customer is deciding on your product or service, it is highly, highly likely that they will go and check you out on review platforms to see if you're well. So for example, here's Summit Web's Google My Business profile, okay? And you can see that we have 22 reviews. They're all 5-star. Now that's great, but a customer might briefly click on and briefly have a look at those reviews just to see if we're going to best service their needs, all right? You know, it might be that someone is searching for a plumber and they look for reviews on GA Perry, and they might say, all right, all we do is, plumbing maintenance, okay? So we're going to do maintenance for property management companies. Therefore, that's probably not the best fit for that customer, so they might go and check someone else out, all right? So a lot of people check reviews, and it looks quite bad to say if you're a reputable company and you don't have many reviews, or you might have, a 1 or 2-star reviews, because generally the people who are passionate about posting reviews are the ones who aren't happy with your service. So you need to prompt the people who enjoy your service to go ahead and do it, all right? So that could be sending an email out after your service saying, hey, did you enjoy us? Could you please do a quick review? We'll give you 10% off your next blah, or whatever it is. You can incentivize them, etc. Don't ask for a 5-star review, because that is against Google's and other review platforms' terms and conditions, okay? Just ask for a review. Awesome. And also ask for referrals, right? Ask if they know anyone else that is keen to go ahead and go ahead with their services, all right? So for example, I used Luke the other day for my car loan, right? And a great way at the end, he was like, oh, can you do me a review? And I said, sure, I'll do a review. But he also asked me if I could refer anyone if I knew anyone. And so that just like sparked my mind. And anytime someone's looking for finance or for car finance, is that it sticks in my mind to refer along Luke, because he asked me, all right? If you don't ask your customers, then they're probably not going to go ahead and willingly give you that referral. And there's nothing wrong with asking as well. So, again, sending out automated emails for reviews, and possibly automated emails for referrals, or even just ring them up and ask them for referrals. It's a great way to drum up new business. All right, cool. So that's our top, 5 results at the moment to instantly get you some more traffic, more revenue, more customers. I'm going to go ahead and answer some of the questions. So if anyone can go ahead and ask any if they want at the moment, I can answer them now. But Kai mentioned, how important is the title for SEO? Now, I guess, so what you're referring to, Kai, is up here is how important is this compared to any other SEO techniques, like, probably inserting keywords, etc. Your title is really, really important, but not a massive, massive ranking factor. But indirectly, it helps quite really, really well. So probably the most important is inserting great keywords into your content so Google understands what your website is about, and having it structured very well. But you need to entice people to click onto your website, and that title plays a massive, massive role. So in the grand scheme of things, when people are doing all their searching and trying to figure out, reports and trying to figure out what's the most important in the Google algorithm, is that the SEO titles are probably up there in the top 20, but indirectly it flows on to so much else. Click-through rates are really, really important on the SEO. And next one is I can see this one. Is it more important than on-page SEO? No, I would say on-page SEO would probably still be more important, which is inserting your keywords, making sure your images are tagged properly. However, yeah, it's still very important. Next one, Kai, what do you do if you call to action is not being used? Okay, awesome. It probably might mean that it's not the right call to action. All right. So let's just say Hilton Plumbing has multiple people coming onto their website per month. So let's just say 100 people, but we're seeing that only one person clicks on one of their call to actions, whereas they might be scrolling down and clicking on, request a booking, all right? So while if they're scrolling down or they're using some other methods, and that's more engaging than, let's just say, these main call to actions up here, then bring it up the top and test it, okay? Test it to see if it works for a month. If you see in 1 month instead you get 10 calls instead of that one, then you know that that's an increase in your call to action, right? So yeah, that's the core basics of what you call A/B testing. You might see that around. Now, Mitch, to get further up on the Google page in your category, is it mostly due to the traffic coming through your website or how much content there is on there? Okay, so there's a huge amount of ranking factors that get you up to the top of the page. And I'll go through some of the basic ones, right? So the basic ones are essentially, Mitch, is having your keywords in your on-page SEO. So right here, you can see that, what's the number one? Hilton, all right. So here's Hilton's plumbing, probably main keyword here, Perth plumber. So that's really obvious, and that's probably a title. And then it probably has Perth plumber elsewhere on the website as well. So let's go Perth plumber. About, it's there 3 times, licensed Perth plumber. So that's one of their keywords. So that's one of the main things. And the reason you do that is so Google can read that text and understand what your website is about. Once they understand what your website is about, then they can correctly put you in the main index, which is plumbers within Perth. From there, there's a series of a whole heap of things in terms of optimizing your SEO titles, optimizing your descriptions, making sure you've got a good amount of text on your website, making sure when someone comes onto your website, they engage with it, they click onto another page, they spend a good amount of time on it. And then the other big one is also getting backlinks, which is other people's websites linking to you. And for example, a Perth local business will be having for example, Summit Web linking to Hilton Plumbing. In Google's eyes, that would be a really authoritative thing to do. And so, there's other companies around Perth trusting Hilton Plumbing. That's why they're linking to them, okay? So that's some of the core basic things, but there's a whole heap of other ones, mate. But if you get those things right, like basic on-page SEO and making sure your customer interacts with your website a lot, that'll skyrocket you, to page 1 or 2. And then it's just about getting a whole heap of other links and a few other things as well. Cool, guys. All right. So Kai said one more. Should I focus on good content that people want to read or just SEO friendly content? Look, great question, mate. You should focus on both. But first off is that the content, your customer wants to read it. They have to be engaged, and they have to read through, and they have to get some benefit or some value out of it. Now, there are so many great, valuable articles on the web that no one ever sees. And the reason why is because Google doesn't understand what they are about, okay? So you still need to SEO optimize them by putting certain keywords in there. Now, a great example is here's a keyword here by HubSpot, website mobile friendly. And you might be searching, is my website mobile friendly? It's a variation of that. And while this is an amazing article, if they didn't have these is my website mobile friendly or is your website mobile friendly keywords in there, no one would ever find it because Google would have no clue what it's really about, okay? So yes, first off, make sure your content is awesome and that your readers want to read it and provide value out of it, get value out of it. And then and then secondly, make sure it's SEO optimized so the search engine knows what your article is about and can correctly rank it in there. Awesome, guys. All right, so I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much. Now, if you're watching this as a recording, go ahead and comment below. Share this as well if you would like, if you think that someone will have value in it. and we'll answer any other additional questions in the next live recording. All right. So again, thanks guys. Thanks for coming along. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. It's beautiful and sunny here in Perth. Let's hope it continues the rest of the week. Cheers, guys. See ya.